Hi there, welcome to Dave in the Shed. I'm Dave and this is my little corner of the world, also known as the Shed Mahal. Now if you're into DIY, 3D printing and model trains, you've come to the right place. Now fair warning, I do things a little bit differently. I have cerebral palsy, which means sometimes things get a little bit creative around here, but hey, it just makes it more fun. So if you like making, fixing, and maybe even breaking things along the way, stick around. Hit that subscribe button and let's build something awesome together. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to today's Dave in the Shed. Going to be a quick one. Haven't been doing much this week. I had visitors up till Monday evening. The visitors left after the Forbes Elvis Festival. Lo and behold, they came back on the next day. They were here Tuesday night again, and they were travelling through, so they stayed Tuesday night, went to somewhere else on Wednesday, expecting them back this week again. So how about that? The visitors must love me. Nah, it's just because good old Cowra Central West is a good spot to break your journey when you're travelling across the country. Just a good location. But anyway, yeah, so I've been socialising and running Dave's Bed and Breakfast, so that's a joke, Dave's Bed and Breakfast. It's not really a bed and breakfast. We saw somebody who told me into somebody. We just call it Dave's Bed and Breakfast because a lot of people pass through and stop in for a chat and stay the night and use our washing machine and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, yeah, so I had visitors. So like they came up Thursday night, went to the Parks Elvis Festival, stayed over the weekend. I think I mentioned it last week. Went back to the big city on Monday afternoon. They're continuing their journeys around the country and they came back on Tuesday evening. Stayed the night lovely, left early Wednesday morning, and they're apparently coming back this weekend again. So they like the place, they like me. Anyway, just before Christmas, I decided to, because I had a job to do where I had to punch some holes in some material, some nice square holes. Many ways to do it, but it was easiest way is actually to use the old mortise drills I've got here. So I come up with a contraption to, and I've done a slight example, this is 3mm MDF. We wanted to cut a nice squarish type slot in some material, so this we were doing it. Yeah, it worked okay. So I bought a cheap drill press stand off the Chinese place, starting with T. I got an adapter for my old As the Hills GMC power drill, because this is going to be a semi-permanent installation, so we got an adapter, so we put a mortise drill in it. Yeah, and it worked okay. So this is a cheap and nasty drill press, cheap as chips. Did try to source one locally, couldn't find anyone who had one floating around a shed or anything, but anyway, so there you go in the old GMC. Now I did use a old As the Hills controller, which has allowed us to switch the drill on and off that Dad had for many years. Unfortunately, it's got sick, so I've got to do a repair on that, because it was brilliant for using it to switch on and off the drill and to turn it around. This old drill only has one speed flat out where you want to go a bit slower. But we do have to do, it worked okay for what we do. I have to do an upgrade, because one thing we found, bear the fingers, is the actual square bit on the mortise is a bit hard to line, a little bit dangerous, because that's why we're using the fancy fingers. You've got to then line it up nice and square on your thing and then put a pressure bit. So what I'm thinking of doing is, and hopefully show you this week, I'm going to make a handle that sits here that holds this square. So when you're doing a job, I'm going to try and do this one-handed. See that this turns, which is a bit of a worry. So if it's not quite straight and you're trying to punch a hole, there is a little bit of movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to put a handle here so you can hold this square and pull your lever down and do it nice and square. But yeah, look, there's a little bit of movement in it. It could do some tightening up, but of course it's cheap aluminium cast inside this, so I didn't want to over tighten it to it. But it's not too bad. As you can see by the result here, if you take a bit of time, a bit of patience, you can get a nice square cut. And I've got a whole range of these mortise drills and sizes up to that. But anyway, this is what we were looking at. So we needed, yeah. So that was that. A couple of things to show you, and I'll get out of your hair. Like I said, quick one. Heat. Oh, the heat. We had this heat wave. That sort of like slowed everything down a bit. Another thing I've been... Look, I'll tell you what. Let's tell a story. I bought some of this Loctite glue from the place down the road, the hardware shop known as Bunnings. It's meant to be really good for gluing up plastics, and I was going to try and use it to assemble some aeroplanes, as you've been doing. The A380 that was here, somebody took it. They decided they took it, so I'm printing a new A380. I should show you some of that, but I was looking at using some of this glue. This stuff, I've had to hit up the websites and order some different versions of glue, and this stuff wouldn't glue the skin on a rice custard. Wouldn't glue it on, wouldn't hold. Loctite, meant to be a good brand. This stuff, next to friggin' useless, people. Now, what I've discovered was apparently this stuff only has a shelf life of about 2 years. And a lot of people have complained about this if you go searching on the YouTubes and the internets and all that. Is only has a shelf life on as 2 years from date of manufacture. And there's nothing to say on the card, on the thin card, how old was manufactured. So you could be getting out-of-date stuff without even knowing it, which is the thing. Now, I went fancy and printed up this magic crate. Have a look at this. Print up this magic crate. I didn't even print it in the standard office shed lime green. I was just in a hurry, but how nifty is this? I just wanted to hold this on the workbench while I was working. So I came up with that idea. Holds the glue all nice and neat. Less chance of tipping it over and making a spill, because the instructions say to keep these containers upright. Which also may have been a cause in the failure if at any time they've been left on their side or shipped. But anyway, I followed all the instructions, all that. But that stuff, yeah, you couldn't glue the skin on a rice custard with it. It is next to useless. So anyway, so if you see this in Bunnings, I don't know if it's like, I've got, show you in a sec, I've got some of it, I've got more of that. So I'll have a look at that in a sec. But what I also made up is, I've got the old, and I'll pan back with the Ryobi. Of course, it's Ryobi Spotlight light that we've got here. I've used this on my stand. I don't know if you've seen the video stand, but it is a little bit tippy and rocky on the bench. So what I did is I made up an adapter. It stabilises a bit. So I'm going to make up a piece of timber or something to mount this on, so it's screwed down, or do something to make it a bit more steady. But when I designed it, hang on, just make it easy. Pull this out of the road. When I designed my little crate, because I want to sort of like set this up more permanently on the workbench, told me, like, how about this? How about the nifty of this? I designed this so your glue crate can go in there, and don't know how well you can see that. So it hang on, we might have an audio problem here. My video, my mic just says it's disconnected. Anyway, we'll push on. There will be some audio. We will produce a video. We won't let that hold us back. That's rather interesting that the mic's done that. Anyway, let's push on. So yeah, so I've designed that crate to go that. Now, normally the light, we'll take it for a walk. I'll put it back where it goes. The stand that came out of the local Miller's when it closed down. There's a thing over there, so when I'm working on the camera, I can put a camera on it. But I designed up a clamp, because this is also a portable. It's not going to really go on back on one handed, is it, Dave? Didn't think about that anyway. Hang on, got to stop the camera. Sorry about the bad audio. It's so long since I charged that little mic, it's probably just flat. So this is, if you've seen it before, this is the light stand. It was actually a dress or clothing stand that came from Miller's locally when they closed down. I've got a clamp up here so I can clamp the camera on it. It's fully adjustable, but I use it when I'm working on the layout. I can put the light where I want it, and because it's a magnifier, it does all that. So anyway, that's it for about this week. Hope you're keeping safe, hope you're keeping cool, keep doing something. Just remember, look, this part of life, try something new you don't normally would do. If you think, oh, I wouldn't mind trying that, have a go at it. Because you don't know what you can do or what you can't do until you have a try. It's sort of like my motto, my philosophy in life. Don't know what you can do or what you can't do until you have a whack. Henry Ford said, and they quote Henry Ford, if you think you can, if you think you can't, you're right. Next week, what are the plans? I'm going to start working on the trees. They're all here. I'm going to try and do a video on how I do the trees. There's a bit of chat on one of the ON free websites on Facebook about these plastic trees. I think the bloke's pinched me ideas, but anyway, I'm going to go for a process how I do those. Probably film a video next week and some of bits and pieces. And that's it for now. Look after yourselves. Take care. Talk to you soon. Don't forget, hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to my videos, and we will chat very soon. Goodbye from Dave in the shed with those cicadas outside being very, very, very noisy. Till we meet again, catch you later.